You guys, welcome to number 4 of the Derby Career Mode, and in this episode we're going to be commentating over the games that we are playing. I think we're playing about 8 or 9. So far we are 5th in the table. We did really well in the last episode to get from like 12th to in the playoffs, so that was good to see. So far in this career mode we've gained a lot of points, and we're only 9 points now off the top 2, so it'll be interesting to see if we can actually potentially push towards those positions in this episode. So yeah, we're going to be playing at least a few games, and I have actually put Jordan Rhodes and Ross McCormack onto our short list, as I feel like a good striker would be quite good, and they're not too expensive as well. They're only like £3 or £4 million, and obviously in the form that they are in at the moment, maybe that'll be 5 or 6, we'll have to see though. But still, for those kind of players that are scoring like 20 goals a season in the Championship, as long as they get like 10 to 15 in the Prem, then I'm more than happy. So yeah, looking at the lineup for today's game against Brentford, who we did actually just play in real life yesterday, so a bit of an interesting one. Obviously we've got a bit of a different lineup than what was played in real life. So yeah, we got Jake Buxton coming into the team due to international duty for Johnny Russell and Richard Keogh. So obviously we're missing out some big players. It is in the rain to kick off the episode. I never really like the rain. I can never ever play that well, so it's going to be an interesting one. Obviously very similar Brentford lineup that what was played yesterday. So Saunders does get the goal there in the first 5 minutes of the match. Not the start we were really looking for, but like in real life, we conceded first and then we came back to win the game. And in the 6th minute of the match here, Kamara running down this left hand side, ball into the box, and then Weimann with a diving header to make it 1-1 in the game. Just 2 minutes later, we literally replied straight away, went down that left hand side, and great ball into Weimann, who made it 1-1. So unfortunately that is how the game does end in the end. A little bit of a shame we couldn't actually beat Brentford, because they're not exactly the best of teams, but they're a lot better than what they are in real life. I think they're around the 10th mark. So we have got George Thorne going to a 73 rated player there. That's quite nice to see, because I would like to get him to a 74, 75 by the time we do get to the Prem, because we have got Michael Carrick coming in, who is a 77, 78 rated player. So if we are going to play George Thorne, then he's going to have to grow quite a few ratings. So for the next game against Leeds United, we're going to have to make a few changes due to fitness reasons. I think we're going to actually play Butterfield in behind the striker, and then Hendrick and Hughes, and then Russell out left, obviously just coming back from international duty, and Baird and Forsyth in the fullback positions. Obviously Baird's gone on loan to Fulham in real life now. So looking at the Leeds lineup, they've got Dakara and Wood up front, Bridcut and Murphy, Dallas, Belushi, Cooper, and Silvestri, the goalkeeper, who did actually quite well. So into the first 5 minutes again, ball through for Dakara, and he does put it into the back of the net to make it 1-0. Again, conceding early on in the game, it's really cost us a couple of points in that first game, so yeah, that's kind of annoying. Obviously here, in the 18th minute of the match here, Will Hughes putting the ball down the middle for Butterfield to put it into the back of the net to make it 1-1. And this midfield three, if you actually go back and watch all of that goal, I think Hendrick passed it to Butterfield, then back to Hughes, then to Butterfield, and yeah, all three of our midfielders creating that goal there. Really nice goal to get us back into the game just before the 20th minute mark. Then just after the 20th minute mark, Chris Baird into Hendrick, mashes it into the back of the net, makes it 2-1, and it was a really nice finish from Jeff Hendrick. A good bit of dribbling, obviously scored a goal against Leeds United on Boxing Day in real life, or was it on New Year's Eve? Something like that anyway. He got a goal, and yeah, 2-1 victory, obviously a good way to get back from that 1-1 draw in the first game, to get us a win in that game. That was quite nice to see. A really good midfield masterclass from all of our players. So far, we're 8 points off the top 2 positions, and if we did win that game against Brentford, then we would have only been 6 points away. So as long as QPR lost a couple of games and we won all ours, then there was a good opportunity that we could have got into the top 2. But we'll have to see. There's still an opportunity. 9 points difference, still achievable. So next game is against Burnley. We're going to have to play a few different players due to fitness. Obviously we're playing a lot of games in this episode, and players that are just getting a bit low on fitness. So they got Andre Gray, Hennings, Kitely, Barton, Boyd, Lafferty, Long, me, Loughton, and I don't think they haven't got they got Glick in goal, because they have actually sold Heaton. So they do concede a goal there in the first 10 minutes of the match. Craig Bryson, obviously Christie creating the chance for him, and it was a good place shot from Bryson to make it 1-0 in the game. And it is good to see that all of our midfielders seem to be making a good impact when they do play, because that's quite vital to winning games. And there, ball into the back post, Jason Shackle wins the header, and against his former club, I was trying to do the thing where you don't celebrate, but instead I just slid on my knees, and like, not really the most respectful in the world, but obviously I'm not too sure how you really do that. I think I did that in the last episode as well, I think Christie did really well in that game defensively, and obviously creating the first goal of the game. So into the next one now against Ipswich. They are in the relegation zone, so it's going to be an interesting one because they're going to want the points to stay in the league, and they have got some really good players. Obviously, Tommy Smith in the defence, Daryl Murphy up front. I think Fraser's quite decent. Scoose in the midfield as well. But yeah, maybe like taking a few of their players if they do get relegated to League One would be quite good. So into the 40th minute of the match here, Chris Martin cutting inside from the left hand side, finessing it into the top right hand corner, making it 1-0 in the game. And I believe that is the only goal of the game. It wasn't the most eventful game in the world, but as long as we get the 3 points, I'm really not too bothered. So yeah, that's how it ends. A little bit of a shame it wasn't the most eventful, but at the same time, all we need at this point of the season is getting those 3 points, and it was the only shot we had on target, so maybe a little bit lucky to get away with the 3 points. So obviously now we're only 1 point off Burnley, who are just above us, so potentially if we win this next game, then we can go into the top 4, and just in terms of playing an easier team, if we are going to go through the playoffs, then that'll be something quite good to look forward to. So we're going to be using the alternate kit for this game, as the majority of the time you don't really get the opportunity to play with this kind of kit. So yeah, into the Preston lineup for today's game. Obviously got Anders Lindegaard in goal, quite good keeper, about 78 rated. Up front they got Beckford and Doyle, who are quite good, and Bemidji in the right wing position. So into the 69th minute of the match here, ball into the box, and just off the bench, as you can see in the top left hand corner, Darren Bent impacting straight away, getting the goal, making it 1-0, and again, unfortunately, that is the only goal of the game. Not the most eventful again, but, you know, I'm not too bothered. As long as we're getting the 3 points in these games, then that's all I really care about. We did quite well, especially in the rain, away from home, and yeah, we're going to go into another game now against another similar standard team it is against Huddersfield. They're also in the relegation zone. They may be bottom of the table, I'm not too sure. So we're gonna try something a little bit different for this game. I think we're trying out Johnson in behind the striker. So yeah, looking at their lineup, they've got Naki Wells, an absolute beast up front, really pacey, 90 odd pace. Jamie Patterson in behind him, Dean Whitehead, Scannell, Matt Craney in the defence as well, quite decent. And in the 84th minute of the match there, we do win a penalty. Thomason's getting taken down by Craney to win us a penalty, and with 5 minutes left of the game, we really needed to put this away with Darren Bent, and the absolute legend does make it 1-0 in the game to get the 3 points. So we really did get quite lucky in that game against Huddersfield. Obviously we do need all the points that we can in this episode, and even if we are just winning these games by 1-0, then I'm not too bothered. Like, I don't think you guys are that bothered either, as long as we are going up the table slowly. Yeah, now we are above Burnley. That's nice to see. Only, what's that, like 5 points, sorry, off the top 2. So there is a good opportunity, but QPR do have a game in hand. So as long as they don't win that game, there's a chance that we can get into the top 2. So next game now against Bristol City, another pretty easy opponent. We should be able to get the 3 points. Obviously Frank Fielding goal. Alex Pearce, who is actually our player on loan. Obviously in real life he would be like cup-tied kind of thing, where he can't play against his parent club, but nevertheless, into the 75th minute of the match here, ball into the box, Weimann with the header, and Weimann with the goal. A really good finish there. I think we just changed the formation to a 4-2-4, put Weimann and Martin up front, and it made the difference because it just gave us a lot more options up front. Winning a penalty there, Weimann does, and obviously I'm just going to give him the penalty because he did do really well in this game to get us out of nothing, to get the goal, to get us into the lead. So I think he did kind of deserve the penalty to get himself another goal, and there he does, took it away nicely to make it 2-0 in the game. It's really nice to see Weimann doing well, because in real life he's not really had that amazing impact, but on this career mode he's been absolutely vital to most of our wins. Unfortunately there we do concede a goal to make it 2-1 from Pack to lose the clean sheet for Scott Carson, obviously just make his record not quite as good, which is a bit of a shame because we did actually get about 3 or 4 in this episode so far. Into the next game now against Rotherham. I'm not too sure how many games we've actually played in this episode, but I think we've got another one after this as well. So there's loads and loads of games, and yeah, we've gained a lot of points so far, so that's good to see. So obviously Rawson, another player on loan from us, and Lee Camp and Leon Best, both former Derby County players. And unfortunately here in the first 20 minutes of the match, Morwood with the shot into the top left hand corner to make it 1-0 in the game. Not exactly the start we were looking for, but nevertheless into the 21st minute of the match, ball across to Will Hughes, smashes it into the top left hand corner of the keeper's net to make it 1-1. And again, Will Hughes, like, getting a goal, like, he doesn't get that many goals, but when he does get the occasional one here and there, it's an absolute smash into the back of the net. So into the 26th minute of the match, Ince with the cut inside, Ince with the shot, and Ince with a wonderful goal to make it 2-1 and to get us into the lead. Like, they scored on the 20th minute, we scored a couple in 7 minutes, so that is how the game does end. A really good comeback in like 7 minutes from being 1-0 down to get us into the lead. So next game now against MK Dons, I believe it is the last of the episode, as we do have Forest in the next game, and I just thought I'd do that live and just make it a little bit more special as it is the derby. So looking at their lineup, obviously they've got Nicky Maynard up front. We did recently play him, I think we lost 1-0 from a free kick, so hopefully that Forster Kasky on loan from Brighton doesn't do the same in this game, because that'd be kind of unfortunate. So let's go into the game now, and in the 65th minute of the match, George Thorne through ball for Martin, first time shot, puts it into the back of the net, makes it 1-0, and I'm not too sure if we were just about to bring on Bent, because that's about the time that he does come off the bench. But in the 88th minute of the match here, Walsh with the ball into the back post, Murphy with the shot, and unfortunately does deflect off Keogh to go into the back of the net to make it 1-0 with 2 minutes left of the game. We go on an attack, go forwards, win a free kick, lay it off for Johnson, and he absolutely smashes it into the top right hand corner to make it 2-1 and to get us the 3 points in the last kick of the game. So that was really lucky to get those 3 points. I think we only lost points in like one game this episode, and that was actually the first one, so he did really well to get like 3 points in like 9 games. That was really good to see. I'm not too sure how many games we actually played in this episode. Maybe I could have added them up if I really was that bothered, but we at least played like 7 or 8, so that was good to see that we got a lot of points. So looking at the table to end off the episode here now, we are 6 points off the top 2, so if we win both of our last 2 games of the season, then there's a good opportunity. If QPR lose both of theirs, then we could potentially be in the top 2, and if not, we'll have to go via the playoffs. So far we're in 3rd, Forest are in 4th, and Burnley and Middlesbrough also making up the final few positions in the playoffs. So yeah, we were playing like Middlesbrough in the semis, and then either Burnley or Forest in the final. We have beaten both of those, all 3 of those teams so far in this career mode, so I'm not too bothered if we go through the playoffs. I feel that we are quite confident in doing that, and we should be able to get promoted to the Premier League either way, if it is via the playoffs or the automatics. Nevertheless, if you did enjoy this episode, a really jam-packed episode full of games, so make sure you do smash the like button, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and see you soon. Bye.